and it'll be shared with everyone afterwards. I did share out the YouTube channel before this call with the link to all of our other videos or recordings for these discussions. So if you haven't checked them out, they're all very, very helpful and have various topics. So yeah, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat box. Let us know who you are and what cleanup you lead. And then for anyone new, the goal of these calls is to provide a regular forum for the Cleanup Organizer Network, which is about 350 active organizers. And this forum allows us to ask questions, connect, share information and ideas with each other. Again, the dates for our other discussions were shared this week, and we are looking for a guest speaker to share some details about unique projects that they've done that could be replicated in other areas of the country and with other organizers or collaborations between others. So, and that could be, I can't even give you a topic because I know everyone's kind of doing things a little bit differently. So please email me if you're interested. Okay, so for this month's topic, we'll be discussing the best and worst grabbers, gloves, and sharing ideas and results of trash bag alternatives. So I have two poll questions to determine what everyone's currently using. And we're going to talk about grabbers first. So the poll is asking what brand of grabbers you currently use and then what your biggest issue with grabbers right now is. So I'm going to launch that and we'll take a minute for everyone to answer. Okay, I'm going to share the results. So a lot of people said the brand wasn't listed, but several of you or three of you used the Nifty Nabbers. And then the biggest issue, as I suspected, the parts breaking off, the mechanisms that jam up, and it's costly. So it's very great information to have. And so now, okay, so I have a list of grabbers that have been recommended by other organizers in the last year. And I'm going to highlight the features, pros and cons I've heard. And then for each, we'll open up to the floor to see if anyone has used that type of grabber and whether or not they would recommend it also. So my current list is 7 types that have been recommended to us. And then my goal is basically to narrow it down a bit more, maybe to 5, so that I can share what the best, I guess, 5 grabbers are on the market for our type of use. I know that when you're looking at reviews, some people are using it for cleanups and then others are using it within their house to reach certain things. So obviously we're in a unique situation. So those reviews might not always be accurate to what you'll be using them for. So let me stop sharing that and I'm going to share my window with the first one, which is the ArcMate. And This was recommended by Andrea Stewart with the Delaware Coastal Cleanups and Richard Hitchcock's with RGV Fishing Area and Waterway Cleanups. So Delaware and a Texas group. They mentioned that it's durable. They have bright colors. You can personalize it for your cleanup. So if you, I know some people write Sharpie or just put around a thing of tape, but you can actually get it customized. And they have bulk discounts. Cons are they still break, but they should hold up for a few cleanups. The most common issue that I've seen with these types of grabbers that have the little black pellets where it's like where the jaw is, those are the things that break off. Is anyone on the call? I don't think I saw this voted for, but has anyone used these types of grabbers before? Dean? Okay.
Yeah, it's a type that's pretty common. There are a number of brands. One I like is Vive. They even make ones that you can there's a hinge in the middle, so you can easily keep them in your car along with some bags for doing cleanups on the fly. And you can replace the cups. I recommend getting silicone ones that are colored blue for replacement because they last a long time.
Awesome. I didn't know you could get a replacement for that. So that's great information. Can you in the chat write like whatever name and those types so that I can make sure that it's recorded and properly and for when I disperse that information. Bonnie.
Coincidentally, just this morning, the little black thing popped off because the screw fell off while I was doing my morning walk. So yeah, that is a problem, but I do know that some brands sell repair pieces, that you can get. So today I plan to go home and hit the hardware store to see if I can get that little nut that screws on.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, and we've been using the brand Garbo Grabber.
Yeah.
And some of the Keep Mass Beautiful affiliates buy those, and if you order through their site, you can get a discount. So that's just a hot tip.
Great. Yeah, I actually have Garbo Grabbers on the list. So we'll be talking about them after a few more of these. So great. Annette, you also have your hand raised?
Yeah, morning. So there's a little bit in the chat about how this looks like the Easy Reacher, and that's what I've been using. And so I feel like they're similar enough. I don't really know what the differences are. I mean, the handle looks a little different. The Easy Reachers don't have this like loop that goes around your wrist. And they're not orange, but I think the basic setup is kind of the same. And if you order them in bulk, you get the price goes down as you get more. So as we've needed large amounts, we've ordered 144 before and gotten them for just under $9 a piece. So that's also a huge perk.
Great. The next one is Bird Rock. This one was recommended by, I don't have it on my list, but it was recommended by someone. I didn't have it in my list apparently, but it has a rubber jaw grip. It's 32 inches in length. It has the handle trigger that's designed, and it has rubber padding, rotating head. It's available at Costco and Amazon. It is affordable. So you can get, I think it's $22.96 for a 2-pack, which comes out to $11.48 each. And it is a shorter lifespan. So I did see a few things that like it might only last for like 4 months. So sometimes it's better than a single use though, which I have also experienced. Annette, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, we've had a lot of these break. So, yeah. And because of the way they're riveted, like I have them all in my storage unit with like hopes that I'm going to someday fix them. And I just don't know how that's ever going to happen. So, I mean, the rotating head is nice, but it has one cable in the inside. And once that becomes dislodged, it's unusable. So we've really gone away from this kind.
Good to know. Okay. So I'll likely take that off this list then. And Ariana said the weight max. I saw 5 pounds for some of them. Let's see if it's listed for this. I don't think it is. Oh, it says, no, that's how much it weighs. It doesn't list it, but I've seen for some of them it's 5 pounds, but yeah. The next one is the eTour, and this was recommended by Sally Fisher. It comes in several different sizes, the 16-inch, 32-inch, 50-inch. It is recommended for lifting up to 5 pounds, and you can purchase it at Office Supply. It has that rubber jaw grip, and it also looks very similar to another one, which is the RMS one, which was recommended by Minipal, which I'll discuss shortly. But has anyone used this type of grabber? I have comments.
I've used something that looks similar and found it to be like really tiresome in use, like the hand fatigue. I don't know if it's the exact same one. And that the replacement pieces were trickier when it would break on the grabber side.
That's good to know.
Again, I don't know if it's the same one, but it looks very similar in its design.
It looks exactly, that's what I was thinking with it looks exactly like this other one, which is the RMS, and I actually used it 2 weeks ago, and that was noted. Sorry, the photo's a little bit laggy. That was one of the things I noticed was like the grip thing was, it's hard to use. And I was, yeah, I didn't like it that much. So, okay. So the next one is the Garbo grabbers. We've had volunteers use these at a cleanup before COVID. They're $16.95 each. Pricing is adjusted for large orders. They're 32 inches long. You can customize a label. They're made with stainless steel footing and the aluminum shaft, and you purchase on the company's website. Again, they do have the black little circular cups at the end. So those are the things that several people have experienced. They break off and you have to replace them. So that's the downside, but I think the grip is really easy to use. Has anyone, I know one person mentioned they've used it. Has anyone else used it?
We use something that looks similar. Again, I don't know if it's the same one. I think that we ordered ours off of Uline, which I'll put in the chat. But we've had ours actually for a really long time, like well over a year, and they're still going strong as we're entering another series of cleanups. So I think that also what you had mentioned to the grip piece, it's not super tiring to work with for a couple hours. The suction cups that are replaceable, and then also the ones that we have a feature on the handle where you can close the grabber. So for storage, you're not dealing with a bunch of like mangled open grabbers, which is nice.
That is very useful information for the closing, because I know that is an issue with storing. You end up doing it backward, upside down, and then it breaks. Anyone else? I'm sorry, I can't see everyone's faces, so feel free to speak up.
Hey, this is Jennifer. I actually prefer these grabbers. They seem to last a little bit longer, but sometimes like you'll have those few grabbers that the grabber part will like malfunction. But these grabbers are preferred in my group. Like these are the grabbers that people go to. Because it's, I guess, when it comes to like your hand, it's easier, like you said, to like pick something up, but they still do malfunction.
Another thought that you reminded me of, Jennifer, with this design too, you can bend the pieces that are at the end. And so if it starts to like not where the suction cups like aren't touching each other, where you don't have enough like grab, you can bend those metal pieces so it moves back into its like full grabber state.
Cool.
Yeah, the nice thing about this type is it has metal pieces all the way to the handle, where the ones that grip with look like jaws often have a cord inside that's made of a polycarbonate or it may be Kevlar or something like that, but it tends to stretch and then the jaws don't close. These, the metal isn't going to stretch. It's very long lasting. So look for metal as the cable through the inside the rod, and that'll be a better choice than a cloth one, or rather a cord one.
Great, thank you, Dean. The next one is the RMS grabbers. This is the one I used 2 weekends ago. It was recommended by Minna Paul with the San Antonio River Authority. It's 32 inches. It looks very similar to others, such as the eTorque Grip and Grab, which we just showed. It has an average price, and it has that rubber jaw grip, the rotating jaw, it's aluminum shaft, internal wire that's made of steel cable. It does have that soft grip trigger. So that's kind of, it may require a little bit more weight and strength than other kind of grabbers. It's $17.99 each. You might be able to get a better price with like larger ones. And the reason that San Antonio River Authority was recommending it was because they had all their other ones they've gone through have broken, and these ones, it's like their third cleanup season that they've gone through that, and they seem to hold up. So that's just one group's opinions. I think that it just depends on everyone's experience. Some of them are faulty and some of them work really well. So you kind of, it's still a toss up. And then the last, or second to last one, is the Uline, which I think some others mentioned earlier. And this one, it was recommended by Kimberly Schmidt, and they get the deluxe one, and she really likes it because it pivots. Kimberly, are you on this call? I think I saw her sign up for today. Oh no, never mind, she didn't. I don't have a better picture, and I wasn't able to do that much research, but it's this one. It has that metal claw at the end, so it looks a little bit different. And they do compare the difference between a standard, and it has the deluxe one has the gripper capacity of 10 pounds, which is definitely more than others that I've seen, which makes it helpful. Has anyone used this kind before?
That's pretty expensive, 35 bucks for a single unit.
Yep. I hope that it looks like they might, yeah, even the deluxe, yeah, 35 for 3+, it's still pretty expensive. So
I think I have used those. I'm pretty sure our parks department in town, and then Solve, it looks like that's what they use. Which, yeah, I've worked with a number of times, and it does have like a really nice weight and kind of like an ergonomic design more in the handle. So it's the like hand fatigue again, but can't speak to it much more than that. But the one on the standard one, I believe, is what we actually have that I was speaking about earlier.
oh, Steve, he sent me a direct message. He says a backup option for larger cleanups is the 9-inch utility tong. They're really good for small pieces of litter, but last for years. Steve, I know you're on the call right now.
Yes.
Do you want to speak more to those?
Yeah, we used those originally when we started up Clean Trails, and basically they're a 9-inch salad tong, basically. So when we no longer do cleanups directly, but we've had a lot of experience on all the pickers. They all break eventually, and obviously they're larger. So the utility tongs have the huge advantage that they're very small, compact, and they're a good backup. So if you had 50 pairs of the longer reachers, and then maybe another 50 pairs of the utility tongs, that would give you a lot of excess capacity. Again, they're more of a backup for what we're talking about here, and obviously they don't reach very far.
Gotcha.
They will last forever, though.
Like tongs for the kitchen.
Yeah, and nobody keeps them either.
Yeah.
And
Bonnie?
then also, yeah, also, have you guys seen the 10-foot and 12-foot tongs or pickers, grabbers?
No.
They make a 10 and a 12-foot. They're on Amazon. I'll find a link for it in just a second here. They're not very practical for most people, but they do get into some of the further areas that are a little bit harder with the 36 or 33-inch pickers.
Okay.
Sounds great for kayak cleanups of
Yeah.
shores from the water side.
Right. Again, they're a little bit complex to use just because they're so long and they do fold, but you know, hey, folding 10 feet long still means 5 feet.
Bonnie, you have your hand raised? Okay, we'll go to Annette.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, I was
wanted to.
gonna mention, I'm sorry, he just
Go ahead,
mentioned
Bonnie.
the longer one, and there's a funny YouTube video out there. I'll have to find it. It's like this ninja doing a cleanup, and he has like a wicker backpack on, and he goes out. It's kind of animated, but he has like that long grabber, and then he tosses the trash in his little wicker backpack, and it's really hysterical. So I just wanted to point out that those longer ones are out there. And then and I see that, you know, cost is often an issue, especially for these the quote better ones. But I don't know if there's a company, I don't know if it's anywhere near you, called Harbor Freight. Does Harbor Freight sound familiar to anybody?
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
I just share a little story. So they I call them one and done. So I'll often get the cheapest ones. And then I'm not worried about them having to come back to me because I haven't invested a lot of money.
Mhm.
So keep an eye on that because they have sales. And Madeline, thanks again for all the trash bags for
Yeah.
our ZAP 50. But we had a major 50th anniversary cleanup here, and they had a sale for $1.99 each on these little grabbers. And again, I call them one and dones. But even if you get through one cleanup, but if you have tons of people, then everybody has a tool.
Mhm.
And then you're not losing anything by investing like $20 per grabber. And then if they go home with them, you never see them again.
Yeah, that's a great
Okay.
point.
Thank you.
This is Valerie from Lee. We live near Harbor Freight in Pittsfield. And we've gotten Gempler pickup tools there. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but they do have the repair kit online that you can get. And the fellow who's in charge kind of buying and repairing, we do have to repair them a lot, but at least, you know, you don't have to throw them away.
Yeah.
But I like that idea of the one and done. I mean, it might be kind of a nice way to, you know, spread so that people might do. We have a yearly cleanup and a monthly cleanup, but if we were giving these away, maybe people would be inspired to just do
Exactly.
it during the week.
Yeah. Let them go home with something. And if it continues to work, let them use it. Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I think you can order online too. You don't have to live near one. So just
Okay.
Google Harbor Freight.
Okay, great.
But, yeah, it was this summer. They were running a special.
Okay.
Nice.
They're still running. They've got 33% off currently through October 2nd. If anybody's interested, I don't work for
Ooh.
them. I promise. I just looked them up.
Great, thanks, Teresa. Annette?
Yeah, I was just gonna chime in on the idea of the tongs and that they are good for kids, especially because they're a lot lower to the ground. So, you know, a lot of these like 32-inch grabbers are like a little unwieldy for them, and they're a lot more like swords that they're excited to sword fight with. So tongs, you kind of reduce that aspect of it. And also, you know, we've been encouraging people to just find these at their like resale shops and thrift stores. So trying to reuse some of these items that, you know, instead of trying to buy them new, like if you're encouraging people to do independent, you know, cleanups, to have them look at their resale shops, because there's almost always tongs there.
Great, thank you. And then the last one is the Ranger Professional 36-inch nifty nabber reacher grabber tool, which also looks a little bit similar to the Uline version. And let me see what my notes were on this. This was recommended by Norm Fred with the Boardman paddle group. And they come in various sizes, 31, 36, 38, 48. It has the rotating head, rubber jaw, aluminum shaft. The grip, this is a little bit different. Grip is made with glass reinforced plastic, and it has a magnetic tip, which I thought was pretty cool. So it basically, for any of those metal objects that you find, it'll automatically like link up with it. The pros that Norm said was that they're light, they're tough, they're adjustable, they're cheap, and they've actually held up on their on the water cleanups. That's most of his cleanups are in kayaks, picking up trash that way. You can purchase it at Amazon and Walmart. It does depend on the store and the length for the cost. I did see $19.97 to $27, but I'm not sure about like bulk and that kind of thing. I did see some cons on some reviews, so take this with a grain of salt anyways, but the gripper may be faulty, or it may like require that more of a little bit more weight and strength than the other grabbers, like we mentioned in other products. And then I was seeing like a 5 to 8 month lifespan, which for us, that's pretty good. Since some of the types that we've used, it's literally lasts for maybe 1 or 2 cleanup events, and then you have to get rid of it. So has anyone used this type before?
So we mostly have these grabbers.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's really beneficial for the beer bottle caps.
Mhm.
They like because it's a magnet. I feel like they do last longer. One con is just hand fatigue,
Mhm.
like having to just move your hand in a certain way when you're using this grabber is what people don't like. Their hand gets tired like really easily.
Yeah.
But besides that, it lasts pretty long. It doesn't really malfunction, the bottom of it. It will sometimes like won't go together, so you can kind of adjust it to go together again. So
Mhm.
that's like a pro of it. But yeah, this is one of my favorites, even though like the hand fatigue is like a big con.
Great, thank you, Jennifer. That's definitely good to note, and I'll definitely include this in the recommendations. But noting, I will also, with the feedback from others, I will put like the pros and cons so that everyone is aware, so you can kind of choose which poison you'd rather go with, the hand fatigue or pieces falling off and having to repair it. And there's always some sort of fault to any of these products. So I'll leave it up to you guys to choose which one works best for your group. So we are getting low on time. So I'm going to switch over to the gloves. So I don't have as like an expansive recommendations or like as I did with the grabbers, since it's pretty, I guess the recommendation that American Rivers typically makes for gloves is, and I'm going to go to this page, is that we recommend gloves with a plastic or rubber coated palm for safety and grip when it's wet. They are also great because they can be washed and reused at future events. I know that some groups are still using the plastic like disposable medical gloves, which we're also seeing as everywhere because of COVID, that on top of masks too, we're being found a lot. So I know that groups were going towards that, and because of COVID concerns and everything, but I do encourage you to think about the reusable ones, or at least ones that people can take home with them, so that we're reducing the single use aspect. I do have a good amount of experience with the Wells Lamont, which is on the right. These two look pretty similar, the Cool Job and Wells Lamont from the pictures, but they are, in my opinion, the quality is different. The Wells Lamont they're good, but they and you can wash them, but basically they only hold up for like a few events with washing in between, and then before they start to break down, and then they just get gross. So I don't feel like, I think they are on the more affordable side. I think Wells Lamont is cheaper than the Cool Job, but you also have to look at sizing. I've been ordering gloves a lot over the past few weeks for various events across the country, and some you can only get in a size large and some you can only get in a size medium. So I think as long as you're trying to get something that has that coating, that'll be your best bet for holding up. And also make sure to check if you can wash it too. Does anyone have any recommendations for gloves that they've used, or gloves that they absolutely hate and want to make sure no one else uses?
Well, sometimes we got like leather gloves and it didn't really work out for us because there's a different way to wash leather. I can't remember the brand of gloves that I got, but my trouble with gloves sometimes is like drying them. Like you have to put them on a delicate setting, or you have to let them, dry in the sun. But I've used these gloves. I've definitely used these gloves. Yeah.
Great, thank you for sharing, Jennifer. Anyone else? I guess I'll comment.
Madeline, this is Minna with the River
Minna.
Authority in San Antonio. Hi,
How are
Madeline.
you?
Good, good. It was so good to see you with us a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know you must have noticed, we actually use heavy duty garden gloves, mostly because it's cloth, but we don't do as much on the river as we do on land, and we don't get as much of, wet debris and litter. But, the good thing about that is they use the same, it's reusable, and our cleanups are only an hour and a half. They don't get that crazy bad, but it's worked for us. We've used it for years now. It's really thick garden gloves, but cloth and reusable, and it's branded with our logo and all of that. But we've done well with just cloth heavy duty garden gloves.
Yes, I used Minna's gloves a few weeks ago at her event, and I can say that they are heavy duty, and after using them, they literally were in the same shape as they were when I first put them on. So yeah, that's, as long as they're thick enough, I think that it addresses the safety aspect. If you are working a lot with, like, if you're putting your hands in the water though, or you're touching a lot of wet trash, the cloth, it just gets gross and it's not fun. So that's kind of one side of things.
It's also the heat, here in Texas, that we'd rather have something cotton and, so it's worked well with us. Yeah.
This is Teresa. We have a local vendor that distributes alcohol, and they actually have these gloves. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but they've got Budweiser. They're similar to the ones, Madeline, you have up on your presentation. They've got the nitrile palms and fingertips. They're all one size, unfortunately, but Budweiser donates them. They've got Budweiser's logo on them, and they're really nice gloves, and the volunteers really like to use them.
Great. Teresa, could you send me a picture of them? Then I can, because it's a little bit harder to see on the video. And then I can, that'll be really helpful, and I can share that with the group too.
Sure, definitely.
And then Kim, I see you made a comment to everyone about the needing waterproof gloves that go up mid-length, like up to your forearm. Is that what you're saying? I don't know if you're able to speak. Almost to the elbow. Okay. Yeah, so I guess maybe kind of like kitchen gloves, where it's all the way up, those big cleaning gloves. that could also work. But those also rip, so good information. Anyone else have recommendations?
Just if a lot of these cloth gloves are not really watertight, if somebody's concerned about liquids coming in contact with their hands, they can always put a pair of surgical gloves underneath the robust ones.
It's pretty sweaty, but yes. Okay. The next thing I wanted to mention, which we don't have that much time for, but this is a continuing kind of conversation about trash bag alternatives. One person did email me and said that they did want to add their 2 cents because they couldn't join today's call. But Damian DePaul, he said that he's used the 5-gallon buckets in the past for cleanups, and highly recommends them because they're cheap, reusable, washable, and they can be dumped into the large receptacle for containing trash. So just another person that recommends buckets, which I know that's a lot of groups already are using. Minna, since you're on the call, do you want to talk about your the bags that you are handing out to volunteers to use on the water?
So we made some decomposing, I think it's made out of corn husk or some kind of, degradable kind of material, but we made these mesh bags which can be used on land and water, and they're a size that they don't get too heavy even if you fill it up. And it's been a great way for us to brand our, like our agency and all of that as well. It says Be River Proud, and so you have these. We give out those bags to anybody that's going running. We did a recent plogging event, so runners were, they had a glove and the mesh bag, which was super light, and as they were running, they were picking up trash. It's also given to our paddling crew, the kayakers that go out. Super lightweight, and they fill up like, you're doing a 1-hour kind of deal, easy to use. And because they are branded, and if our team is doing the operations and maintenance along the river, even if they leave it along our trash cans, they know that it's our groups that are contributing, our volunteers that are contributing. So it's worked for us. I don't know exactly what material they're made of, but they're degradable, like some kind of organic material, kind of mesh bags. So on the water, it really works really well from kayaks.
Awesome. And I think I have a picture of them, but if I don't, I will contact you and I'll share it with the group on Facebook or by email, whatever makes sense. Bonnie, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, thank you. I see the photo of the woman in the blue shirt there with the bag.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give you a hot tip. So you know how breweries are popping up everywhere, but if there's a brewery near you, they go through tons of them. My husband's a brewer, and we actually use them as trash bags instead of buying trash bags, and they're great because they don't rip. So that's another thing. And also, the same idea is work with local farmers. Anybody that raises chickens and pigs and all that animal feed, they're all those great and durable bags. So I went through a period a few years ago where I was repurposing them into shopping bags and aprons and stuff. Birdseed bags, the same thing. So they're out there and people were just looking to give them to me. But when I stopped making them, I just then just use them as trash bags. So those are just some free tips. So you don't have to spend money on trash bags, but if you're looking for something that doesn't rip, I figured they're going to the landfill anyway, so use them up. I don't know.
Yeah, I highly recommend contacting any of the feed and seed. They're feed and seed bags. They're made, they have like a plastic coating, so they're definitely heavy duty. They're in similar weight as like the bags that charcoal comes in. But yes, I've had, and I don't think anyone is on the call, but I've been recommending this to groups for about 2 years. And Some groups have are looking into it right now, and some groups have already used it. I believe it's the Connecticut River Conservancy is one of them that have used it for the past year or two. And they contact breweries all in the Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont area and collect these bags in advance of their annual event that happens across a bunch of states. There's several people with raised hands. Bonnie? Oh, I mean Valerie?
Hi, I just wanted to say also that here in Lee, a friend of ours uses pellets in the winter and it comes in plastic bags. And so she donated to our cleanup committee, like, I don't know, 100 bags. So we use those for our monthly cleanups. And so it's just a nice way to reuse something that would just go in the trash ordinarily. So it gives it one more life.
Yeah, and you could even, if you don't have maybe the time to do a bunch of that outreach and looking for, if you send out like maybe a monthly or annual like email to your supporters or volunteers, putting just a little note like on that email and just say, hey, we're looking for maybe these types of bags, and getting into that reusable area. And so if you guys know of have any contacts or frequently use a large number of these types of bags, let us know and we'll send someone to come pick them up, or you can drop them off. And that's a way that could be easy outreach without having to make a bunch of phone calls to breweries or farmers around you if you don't have as much time. Annette Schumard?
Hi, yes, thank you. I wanted to make sure you're going to let us know where these bags can be found. Like, I see this picture is great, but I don't know where
Yeah.
they could be ordered in the same ones from Minna, because those are great suggestions.
Yes, I will definitely. I don't have for like the ones in the picture on the right. I have like the company name and they came from Jacksonville, Florida, which is in the middle of a hurricane right now. But they, I think the company, I don't know much about the company, but they've also gotten these types of bags from others, and it's St. John's Riverkeeper. So I can, I'll reach out to them to get some more details. But I do have like a write-up of some of these other things. And the more information that people share, the better. And I can kind of just be that repository of information and share it out. So that's kind of the end goal, is to really have more of this type of information and where exactly to get it, not kind of just in general, call up your local brewery or farmer, but actual like contacts. That would be fantastic in the end, so that everyone has that access to that information. So we are over time. I'm so sorry, but we have another call next month. I believe it's on October 30th. And send me stuff if you have any questions or concerns, and I will, or ideas, I'll plop them into the email after this call with the information that has been gathered. And we'll talk next month. Have a great day, guys, and weekend. Stay safe. Bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
Thanks, Madeline.
Hi.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.